Congratulations to Lamar Jackson. You're officially going to the Hall of Fame. Welcome, everybody, to GG9 News, where we talk all things NFL all the time. I'm Jared and I representing the 904 from the 602, and today we are talking about Lamar Jackson because something happened today that all but cemented the fact that he is going to wind up with a bust in canon and will be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame by the time his career ends, barring anything unforeseen. So the first team All-Pro was announced for the Associated Press today, and Lamar Jackson ends up winning at quarterback, being named the top quarterback according to the Associated Press, beating out Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. We didn't know how the vote was going to go. It was a very close vote between Jackson and Allen, neck and neck the entire season, but now we know that Lamar Jackson with 30 of the votes, Josh Allen with 18, Joe Burrow with 2. Lamar Jackson is the AP First Team All-Pro recipient at quarterback, making it the third time that he has ever won this award. And what does this mean? Well, first off, it means that he had a phenomenal season, and no one's denying that. You look at the numbers, 41 passing touchdowns, that was the second most touchdowns in the NFL this season. On just 4 interceptions, he was super smart with the football. Anytime your touchdowns-interception ratio is better than 10-1, you're doing something right. He had a pass rating of 119.6. That is absurdly high. Surprisingly, that was the best total in the NFL, but also that's 4th all-time in NFL history, only behind Aaron Rodgers in 2011, Aaron Rodgers in 2020, and Peyton Manning during that 2004 season when he set the record at the time for most passing touchdowns in a season when he threw for 49 as a member of the Indianapolis Colts. And it wasn't just his ability as a passer, it was also his ability as a runner. He ran for 915 yards this season on 6.6 yards per carry. That was the most yards per carry amongst all qualified runners, combined with the fact that he had the highest yards per passing attempt in the NFL, 8.8. That's the most in the NFL. This Ravens offense was flying all year, and Jackson was a big reason why, as he accounted for 4,938 yards of total offense, which, unsurprisingly, is the most in the NFL. Now, as we all know, at this point, the AP MVP award is a quarterback award. The last time a running back won the award, you got to go back to 2012 when Adrian Peterson pretty much put the Vikings on his back coming off the torn ACL and got them to the playoffs with the second most rushing yards in NFL history. Besides that, we have not seen a player who was not a quarterback win the MVP since that 2012 season. And Lamar Jackson is in line to win the MVP, considering the fact that the Associated Press votes on the MVP and the Associated Press decided that Lamar Jackson was the best quarterback in the NFL this season. Only once in NFL history has a quarterback won MVP that was not a first-team All-Pro. And that was in 1987 when John Elway of the Denver Broncos beat out Joe Montana for the MVP. And that one's easy to explain. I don't think that problem is going to come around during this 2024 season. So that year, Joe Montana was phenomenal. But Jerry Rice was also incredible. He set the record for most receiving touchdowns in a single season. He had 22 touchdowns, and he only played 12 games. Remember that there was the strike. So he only played 12 games, and despite that, he was averaging nearly 2 receiving touchdowns per year. So there were voters that were like, wait a second, Jerry Rice was great. I'm going to vote for Jerry Rice. He had an incredible season. I know receivers don't usually win MVP, but I'm going to vote for Jerry Rice. And then there's some voters that are like, wait a second, Joe Montana had a phenomenal year. He threw the ball to Rice. I'm going to give my votes to Montana. So you had voters split their vote between Jerry Rice and Joe Montana, and it allowed for a third-party candidate, essentially, in John Elway to come in there and win the award. It's the same logic that applies when you see multiple songs from the same film nominated for the Oscar. That's a big thing that happened with Disney in the 1990s, where they got 2 or 3 songs from the same film, and they were very scared that the voters were going to split the vote between some songs. So Disney tried and push one song and be like, hey, if you're going to vote for this song, because they're scared of a split vote. We saw what happened in 1991 when Beauty and the Beast got nominated for 3 original song nominations at the Oscars between Be Our Guest, Beauty and the Beast, and Belle. And they're like, let's push Beauty and the Beast. Let's push the titular song, and let's just go from there. And it won Best Original Song as a result. A split vote is not going to happen this year. First off, there's ranked choice voting now. It's not the same format that it was in 1987 where you only got 1 vote. But split choice will not happen this year, or split vote, I should say, because Derrick Henry would be the only guy that you could conceivably give MVP votes to. And I don't think he's getting MVP votes because he was not a first-team running back. If any running back is winning MVP or getting votes, it's going to be Saquon Barkley because he had over 2,000 yards rushing and maybe could have set the record if he didn't sit out week 17. That was a Nick Sirianni decision. Obviously, Derrick Henry, a phenomenal year. He's a future Hall of Famer, but he didn't do anything historic this year a la Barkley, where you'll split the vote between Jackson and Henry, and it allows Josh Allen to come in there and win the award. That's not going to happen this year. If Derrick Henry set the rushing record, did what Jerry Rice did in 1987, where he set an NFL single-season record, maybe you could see a split vote, but I can't see a split vote happening this time around with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. So it paves the way for Jackson to win the MVP, barring anything crazy. And what does that mean? Well, it means that he is a lock to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He doesn't need any Super Bowl appearances. He doesn't need any rings. I know that it's very tough to make the Hall of Fame as a quarterback if you do not have any appearances in the Super Bowl. Only twice in the post-merger era has a quarterback gone into the Hall of Fame without any appearances, Warren Moon and Dan Fouts. And Lamar Jackson is absolutely in that tier. As it stands, he's got 2 MVP awards. There are 11 players, including Lamar, with 2 or more MVPs. Lamar Jackson is in that group, and every single player is in the Hall of Fame or will be in the Hall of Fame when they become eligible. Now, it wasn't a lock that Lamar would get in with 2 MVPs because you could make the argument against Lamar right now. He has no rings. He has no appearances. He doesn't have longevity yet. But with 3 MVPs, it is all but certain that Lamar Jackson, by the time his career is done, he could retire right now and be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. There are currently 6 players right now with 3 or more MVPs, and barring anything crazy, we assume that Lamar Jackson will be the 7th. Peyton Manning, he's in the Hall of Fame. Jim Brown, he's in the Hall of Fame. Brett Favre, he's in the Hall of Fame. Johnny Unitas, he's in the Hall of Fame. Tom Brady, he will be in the Hall of Fame when he's eligible. That conversation will take all of 5 seconds. And Aaron Rodgers, same thing. He will be in the Hall of Fame when he becomes eligible, whenever he retires, 5 years after that, and that will take all of 5 seconds. Every player with 3 or more MVPs is in the Hall. Every player with 2 or more MVPs is in the Hall or will be in the Hall. You got Patrick Mahomes on there with 2 MVPs. He's going to get in for sure. But Lamar Jackson with 3 MVPs, assuming he wins the MVP this year, which based on the voting, absolutely paved the way to do it. Lamar Jackson is a Hall of Fame quarterback. I can say that without any shadow of a doubt based on the AP First Team All-Pro results that correlate pretty nicely to the AP MVP voting. Again, only one time a quarterback won MVP. That was not the First Team All-Pro. You don't think it's going to a running back. So I don't see how Josh Allen or Joe Burrow wins the MVP this year. It seems like it's Lamar Jackson's award to lose. And because of that, congratulations, Lamar Jackson. I can officially say that with 3 MVPs, you are going to be a Pro Football Hall of Famer when the time comes. Even if you don't win another playoff game, another Super Bowl appearance, you don't do anything else, you are in the Hall of Fame, and it's well-deserved. A well-deserved MVP, a well-deserved first-team All-Pro, and a well-deserved future Hall of Fame nomination. But what are your thoughts on Lamar Jackson? Do you think he deserves to be the MVP this year? Should have gone to someone else? Do you think he deserved to be a first-team All-Pro? Again, the MVP voting is not official yet, but we assume it's going to be this way based on how the voting went for first-team All-Pro. What are your thoughts on Lamar being a first-team All-Pro for Josh Allen and Joe Burrow? And do you think Lamar Jackson is a Hall of Fame quarterback? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. That's going to do it for this episode of JG9 News. Be sure you like and subscribe to help us the channel out a lot. And be sure to check my main channel, Jaguar9, where we talk all things NFL history all the time. Until next time, this is Jaguar9 signing off. And as always, go Jags.